Right. Okay. So in journalism, my general philosophy is you want to tell people stories that are important and interesting. Important and interesting. And it's best if you're telling them stories that are both, right? If they're just interesting, just important. I tend to not be as interested in some stories as my colleagues, but I know what they're interested in because I've been around them a long time. This thing about Qatar giving the president a plane got more coverage, and the press uses this weasel word, they overshadowed. So say we're on the brink of potential Ukraine-Russia talks. India and Pakistan have settled down. There's a trade agreement with China ending ruinous. These terrorists are ruining the economy. Reconciliation affecting the taxes and spending of everyone in America. I'm missing one or two others. And they say, but all of that was overshadowed by the plane. Well, it's really not overshadowed by the plane. I bet you if you walked around America, and there's the plane in question, beautiful luxury, it's called like the palace in the sky. I bet if you went to a diner in Green Bay, people probably aren't talking about the plane. Now, they may not be talking about reconciliation either, but my colleagues are so interested in the story. And I always have to make choices on my shows and in my writing. What do I cover? Okay? So much to cover, particularly with Trump. People say, I'm not talking enough about habeas corpus due process here. And my view is I can't run a show based on what Stephen Miller blurts out on Fox. Like if they start violating people's rights, absolutely. They say, well, you should cover Trump's crypto scam. Well, probably more than we have, but I didn't see a lot of coverage when Joe Biden was running a business out of the White House for his family. And Trump making money off of the presidency. Maybe this is a new low or new high, depending on how you look at it, but it's not a new story. It's not interesting to me. And I don't know that it's important because I think most Americans think every politician gets rich in office. Maybe I'm wrong. And that one I should cover more than I do. This plane, however, I couldn't be less interested in it because Trump wants a free plane. Like, I don't know. I just don't find it that either interesting or important. But here, you saw a picture of the plane there. Here's the president, number 7, leaving for Saudi Arabia today. Now, I don't know, is this him leaving on Air Force One or is this him leaving on Marine One? Let's see. All right. It's awfully loud. A lot of loud. Okay. So, as almost all of you know, any plane the president flies on is Air Force One. He could fly on a Delta flight to be Air Force One. That plane that you think of as Air Force One, the big one, I don't want to denigrate Boeing or America. It's not that great a plane. It's really not. In terms of advanced evasion abilities, missile technology, communications, comfort for the media, it's not that great a plane. So America should have a bigger plane, and there's been a procurement issue, and then the plane's not going to be available till like 4 more years, and the president doesn't want to fly in a crappy plane during his presidency. So somehow, and I'm amazed at how little we know about this, Qatar said, we'll give you a plane. And then it was reported that the plane was going to transfer from the presidency to the president's library after his presidency. So he'd keep the plane. So it was a gift to him. It seemed like the biggest bribe in the history of the country, just like wide open. Like he shouldn't be taking a gift from a foreign country like that. I don't care what the lawyers say. Lawyers can say anything. It seemed like a bad idea. So the president got asked about it today, and he basically said, I'd be a moron not to take a free plane for America, but he said he's not going to keep it afterwards. Here's the president talking about this, number 8.
What do you say to people who view that luxury jet as a personal gift to you? Why not leave it behind?
You're ABC fake news, right?
Why not?
Only ABC, well, a few of you would. Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't give us, I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much. You know, there was an old golfer named Sam Snead. Did you ever hear of him? He won 82 tournaments. He was a great golfer. And he had a motto: when they give you a putt, you say, thank you very much. You pick up your ball and you walk to the next hole. A lot of people are stupid. They say, no, I insist on putting it. And then they putt it and they miss it. And their partner gets angry at them. You know what? Remember that, Sam Snead. When they give you a putt, you pick it up and you walk to the next hole and you say, thank you very much.
Respectfully, sir, man. Some people may look at this and say, have you ever been given a gift worth millions of dollars and then not received
It's not a gift to me, it's a gift to the Department of Defense. And you should know better, because you've been embarrassed enough, and so has your network. Your network is a disaster. ABC is a disaster.
All right, we're going to listen to a little bit more, but I'll just say the metaphor is pretty good, except, again, I want to know, how did this come about? You know, and what do we think the motives are for the gift? Because it's a pretty expensive gift for a country that has a lot of concerns about how the United States thinks of it. And Laura Loomer is not the only member of MAGA who does not like Qatar. And there are a lot of people in Israel who don't. It's incredible. It's one of the most incredible stories on the planet, even before this plane thing. They're an ally of the United States in the sense that we have a base there. They're an ally of the United States in that they help us with various things, including on the peace process in the Middle East. But they do a bunch of stuff that's antithetical to the interests of the United States. And here they are as a country with that mixed record. And they're watching me right now, and they're Washington lobbying firms are monitoring this and recording it, and they're going to write a report to Qatar about how Halpern's hostile to Qatar, because they have all the money in the world to try to improve their position. And this is the way the Saudis were pre 9/11. Same thing. Saudis were incredibly popular pre 9/11 in Congress, mixed in the country, and then after 9/11 they became very unpopular. And Qatar sees that example. They don't want to be unpopular with Congress or the country, and so they'll do anything to stay in the good graces of the United States. And this one, I think, will backfire. That was a delicious video experience. I think you'll agree. Now, what you need to do in return for getting to enjoy that is hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss a thing.